What's happening, everybody? I'm Liam. This is the Comics Perspective Podcast. We are going to do our review for Wakanda Forever. I'm here with Matt, J-Dub, and we're just going to get right down to it.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies, working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid, launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live. Then do us a solid, share and subscribe. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. Working perspectives.
All right. So I was lucky enough to catch Wakanda Forever on opening night, and I was even luckier that I was joined by these two gentlemen. Matt, how you doing tonight?
I mean, doing any better, I might be from Wakanda. Yep.
J-Dub, how we doing, man?
I'm hyped to be on the show, yo. What up?
What up?
Yep.
All right. So these two were nice enough to join me and a couple members of my family to check out Wakanda Forever. They brought back Ryan Coogler, was the director from the first movie, the first Black Panther. And I got to say, this Wakanda Forever, usually like sequels, maybe don't measure up. Dude, this sequel was, I thought, superior to the original Black Panther. The original Black Panther was awesome, and Chadwick Boseman, like no one's ever gonna replace him like as Black Panther. She's her own Black Panther, Shuri and everything, but like his character kind of spanned movies and everything. He was awesome in Civil War, in Endgame, and Infinity War and everything. You know what I mean? So you can't really like compare. But I think like this movie kind of like really took like Wakanda like to another level. You know, what do you guys think?
I liked it. I mean, look, I always say, if it goes fast, you know it's good. And I don't. How long was the actual runtime?
I think it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something, or two. It might have been like 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Didn't bother me at all. Like, at no point was I like I didn't pee throughout the movie. I was like, at no point was I was like, all right, like let's wrap this up. Like at the very, very end, after our conclusion had happened, and then there was still some filler, I was like, all right, like I'm ready to get out of here. But other than that, I was like, fantastic. I had a fun time.
Dude, it was 2 hours and 41 minutes.
Didn't feel like it.
I would agree with that statement where it didn't feel like 241, but I will say this is that I disagree with you. I mean, maybe it's because I have to watch the first Black Panther again, but I thought the first one was better.
First one is a great villain in Claw, which I enjoy him very much. I forget that guy's name.
Killmonger.
And Killmonger's fantastic. But I really, really enjoyed Namor in this. Like it's for me in all films and almost all media, I'm very villain. If you don't have a good villain, you can just go fuck off.
I agree. Namor is better as far as comparing villains from the first one and this one. The villain is better, even though Killmonger was really good. But I don't know. To me, there was a lot of the pace. I didn't like the pace as much as I like the pace in the first one.
Do you like the white jabs they do at the first one? You have Killmonger like take back the stuff that white people stole. And he's like, yeah, I know who this came. You stole it from us. And then in this one, they call whatever that Asian guy is. Yeah, they call him the colonizer. And the lady who sat next to me found that joke so funny every time they dropped it.
But dude,
I remember that lady. She was from Wakanda, right, Justin?
She was.
Okay.
Dude, I don't think they really like poured it on like too much, honestly. Like a lot of times, like so when you watch She-Hulk, dude, they fucking poured it on, dude. You know what I mean? It was almost like they were like talking down to you, like society, you need to learn your lesson. You know what I mean? I didn't feel that here with Wakanda Forever.
I agree.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I think like the excitement has to wear off too. So I need like this to like simmer a little bit before. You're right. Maybe I am jumping the gun saying that Wakanda Forever is better. They're probably all in all like on par with each other.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean, none of them are Endgame. I'll tell you that right now. They're not Endgame.
But I'm like that.
That's
where,
the
like,
problem.
I walk out of the door like after I saw like best movie I've ever seen. And
Yeah,
then like a week goes by and I'm like, yeah, it's all right, you know.
All right. So right now, what would you rate it at? You can do like, point one through 10. Just do 1 through 10, and you can do like,
Like
7.5. You know what I mean?
Like I'll give you my Marvel scale. Like my favorite movie walking in was like walking in and walking out. Like I had no expectation for Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the best movie I have
Yeah.
seen out of like outside of the big collection. Like Endgame and Infinity War are their own thing. So like individuals movies, like as far as sequels go, like it's better than Iron Man 2. It's not better than Civil or not better than Winter Soldier.
It's not better than Civil War, yeah.
I think I would watch this again definitely before I'd watch Black Panther 1 again.
I do want to watch this again though, just because like I don't know, I do want to see it again so I can, because it was good enough that I do want to see it again and soon, but I just want to be able to I don't know, maybe to critique it better and like kind of dive into a little bit more and maybe not miss like certain things. But it was, dude, yeah, I'm excited to watch it again and it was good. But let's do this. I want to start now and tell everyone spoilers alert. If you listen from now on, you're gonna hear spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, then turn off the fucking show. So here's how it starts, right? The beginning of the movie starts with Ceres in like turmoil, and she's trying to figure out like the synthetic whatchamacallit flower that Killmonger burnt, and it's all to save T'Challa. Something's happened to T'Challa, who's not on screen, who's off screen, right? She can't figure out like the chemical makeup of the herb, and then they find out coming in and they tell us T'Challa's dead, which we already knew. Also, shout out Angela Bassett, fan of the show, listener of the show. And then from there, this is what I thought was cool, is that when they did the opening Marvel gimmick, right? Like, you know how they do, it's like, Iron Man, Ant-Man, Captain America, Black Widow, all that, and then it merges together to spell Marvel. When they did that, it was nothing but Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, and it was dead silent.
And purple.
And purple. So yeah, they did it. There was a lot. They did do a lot of good tributes to him in this. I will say that, right? So then after we get back from the Marvel scene, then we go to it's a dual scene where it's a year. They jump 1 year ahead in time, and it's a dual scene where Angela Bassett is representing Wakanda at the United Nations, and then we'll find out at the same time there's a raid on a boat, a Wakandan ship in the Atlantic, and the raid is done by like French special forces. You see, like, dude, killer fight scene. You get introduced to a secondary character who ends up being vital, right? Which is really cool. And then you have like Angela Bassett's speech, fucking money, right? Like, okay. So at this time, what are you guys thinking here? Liam, what is your thought? They're kind of setting the floor because Wakanda said fuck you to the world, and the world's saying no, fuck you, Wakanda, and there is tension. They're putting down the baselines for tension between Wakanda and the rest of the world. Liam, what are your thoughts?
Dude, I was hyped right out the gate when they had those like those power-based daggers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Her vibranium spear, and like those special forces dudes come in and they act like they're like defenseless and everything, and they think like they have no protector because T'Challa passed and everything. But then the Dora Milaje, I think it's called, come out, like those chicks, like the Royal Guard, come out, and they
the
like
bald chicks.
Yeah, they like beat the brakes off them and drag them in front. Yeah, and drag them in front of everybody. And that's when you knew like shit's gonna like heat up between Wakanda and the world, which I think they're setting up because they're gonna do a Wakanda show and everything. And yeah, dude, it's getting pretty like everybody's trying to get their hands. They know at this point vibranium is like limited and everything, and you can make all those crazy weapons out of it. I mean, you're talking about the United States and like powerful countries and everything. They're trying to get their hands on it. It's same as like nukes and everything. It's like an arms race with the rest of the world.
Not gonna lie, when we found out it was French special forces, I was like, what are these cheese-eating surrender monkeys gonna do to the fucking Dora Milaje?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Get out of town. They're not a chance. Not a chance. They're the
And
Dora
about to
Milaje. What were you saying, Justin?
And about to say it's what Zidane Zidane. Anyway, they surrender all the soldiers in front of them in the UN, and like she's like,
Yep.
next time I won't be so kind. And I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah. So then from there, we go back to, I guess, do we head back to the lab and series there? And then this is where they get into like the funeral scene. Is that right? I guess.
Yeah. Well, no, I think at that point she's like burying herself in the work and everything. But then her mom is like, hey, let's go out and we'll do the ritual and everything.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. They already had the funeral scene before the 1 year. You're right. So, yeah, they did the funeral scene before the 1 year. Okay. So then she comes back and it's in the lab. And in the lab, the Angela Bassett gets Syrians like, look, we need some mommy daughter time. I've been running this. Like, imagine this as a leader goes. She took her husband dies. Shortly thereafter, her son dies. After Thanos blipped the world, the blip comes back. Wakanda was attacked by an army of alien, spider zombie creatures, right? And she was able to hold a nation together, right?
What did they do with all those bodies?
I mean,
those things were heavy. They were like 6-limbed big beasts.
I'm sure they just burned them.
Oh, when he snapped, and they just turned into dust, didn't they? Yeah, it was easy.
Years later, no. 5 years later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So after that first battle, there was just piles of just what are they, Scalarian?
Well, I mean, they definitely did research on him for sure. And whatever, because remember, Thor ended up blowing up the ships that they came on, so they definitely did research on those too. Kind of maybe probably tore them apart, just I'm sure they did some for research, and then they got rid of the rest and used it to,
because the whole hidden city part is the coolest thing about Wakanda. It's like not only does it exist, but there's like, I don't know, less than 6% of the Earth's population who could point it out on the map.
Yeah. So okay, so then let's keep it moving. We get to the part, so they do the mommy daughter trip to, it's like a river, right? Or they're going on the way to the river. Then we cut to another scene, and this is the scene where we discover that the United States has created a machine that can detect vibranium, right? And then they've detected vibranium at the bottom of the sea. And at the bottom of the sea, right? Like, that's where they detect the vibranium. And then, they're down there researching. And I'll tell you this. I remember I said, I will shit my fucking pants. And I would. If you're down, dude, when they're down there and shit starts missing and things are getting crazy, I was like, no, not me. That
could have been the whole movie. That would have been the scariest thing. You could have made a horror film out of that single scene.
Yeah.
Dude.
When the glowing jellyfish and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
What's that called? Like thalassophobia or something like that? It's like fear of like deep, dark water. You know what I mean? Which I think isn't even really a phobia.
It's a normal
that.
Flight response.
If that's a phobia, we all have it. So in this part,
James Cameron doesn't.
Right. So in this part, we see the introduction of the Tulukan warriors. The Atlantean. I mean, they're called the Tulukan, but they're the Tokalan or whatever the fuck they're called.
Talokan is the name of the city, but you're right. They're Atlanteans,
Yeah. So, for lack of a better term, we'll just refer to them as Atlanteans or the sea
lost
people.
City of Atlanta.
So we see the sea people. We see a little taste of their technology and their powers, which were very interesting. Love that they had the siren powers, where they would project their voice, and that turns people into controls people's minds.
Is that a comic book thing? Is that a thing that they do? They just throw that in there?
Nah, I mean, he kind of does like the same thing, like where he can communicate with wildlife in the water and everything, which they kind of did that when they were riding the whales and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever did like the sonar mind control thing. That's not something I remember from the
It's like a mermaid kind of ability,
like sirens.
That's where they got it from. It's a siren song.
A siren.
Drone all the people.
Didn't make the connection. Sirens.
Walk into the sea.
Yeah. So the sirens, they had different powers. Like they have these water bombs that are really cool. Then they had they can make this noise that sounds like sirens that can control people's minds. And it's crazy. Like, they had Lake Bell in this scene, who's like a big actress, and she's a smoke with a great pair of titas. And she was in this scene. She's like the doctor that was like, that was like the head doctor on the ship. And so they see, like, the people, you get a nice taste of the Atlanteans at this time. They're kicking some ass, doing some things. You got to see their spear work. You see a helicopter get away. And then when the helicopter gets away, you see a shadowy figure flying in the air, grabs the helicopter, spins it around, and throws it to the ground. Absolutely incredible. Then we get back to the mother-daughter trip on the river, right? And everything's going normal, and then all of a sudden we get introduced to Namor.
Yep.
And go ahead. What did you Liam, what did you think of this? The introduction.
Was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
When he like comes up out of the water and he's sitting there saying, like, that they're using a machine to track vibranium. They found some in the waters near his like civilization and everything. And then she's telling him, the queen's telling him, like, there's no more vibranium except for here. And then Shuri's like, he's covered in it. You know what I mean? Like the stuff he's wearing. And that kind of like, this is like, you knew everything was going to get crazy, because he tells her straight up, you're going to bring me that scientist. You know what I mean? You're going to bring me that scientist.
Shit's going to get bad. Yeah. And dude, and he was badass, man. Like, and this was just a taste of him, but the dude that played him is honestly one of the highlights of the movie. He fucking nailed it. He really nailed it, start to finish, crushed the role. Really, I mean, like, you turned, like, I almost hated to see him lose, you know, but
his name's Tenoch Huerta. He was in Narcos Mexico too, and he's fucking awesome in that too.
Yeah, shout out to him. So, okay, he kind of gives him a message saying, look, there's this fucking there's this machine. You guys, there's a scientist that deals with it. You guys need to figure out who she is and get her to us so we can kill her. Otherwise, we're going to fuck you up. And they're like, what? You ain't going to fuck us up. He's like, bitch, I snuck here through your river that's protected by the river clans. That's all this shit, right? So then after Namor, and also like he surprises them by delivering the machine and stuff. And they're like, oh, damn, he really is good at sneaking this by. But so either way, they go back to, like, now it's like a council of the elders, like the political council in Wakanda, and they're telling them all this stuff, right? And they're like, whoa, what's going? And then the best part of this is M'Baku makes fun of the river tribe, being like, and you pussies let these guys in. You know what I mean? And then someone said something, and then the Jabari just started going, the best. So good. So good.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's easily one of the best characters in Wakanda.
Oh, steals the show. Absolutely steals the show. So, so he was really good. And then, so then they have like a discussion here of like what the fuck they're going to do, what needs to happen kind of thing, right? What did you think of this scene? I'm not, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they do a little too much. I know it's story building and like plot thickening, right? But I don't know. Sometimes when they do these political things, I'm not a biggest fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know how much you love politics, but it's like they kind of had to like build that up and everything.
True.
Like,
I see the need
like,
for it.
One of the worst things you can do is like underestimate your enemy, and that's like kind of what M'Baku in that scene is doing. You know what I mean? He's like, we'll just go kill this fish man, blah blah blah. And she's kind of telling him like, we have to be careful how we do this, blah, blah, blah. And then the queen says, Okoye can go get the scientist over at Cambridge, but Okoye says she wants to bring Shuri and everything, and she doesn't like that idea. So that scene was important, because she talked the queen into letting her bring Shuri, which she was against, which comes into play later.
Well, yeah, but so in that time, then they all, so in this time frame, they all decide, hey, we gotta do something about this. We gotta talk to our American people, and then we gotta make this work, right? So what happens then is that the leader of the Demora Lamage, whatever. What's the general's name?
Okoye.
Okay, so Okoye gets Siri against the Queen's wishes, and then they go to the U.S. First stop is they stop to see Martin Freeman, and they say, hey, what the fuck's the deal with the machine that can detect vibranium and yada, 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 right? And he's like, this kid made it. And what it ends up happening is that it's a college kid that made the machine that can detect the vibranium. So then they go up to Boston, to MIT, to Cambridge.
Boston.
And they find the kid. They tell her, like, look, this is what's going on. You got a fucking fish man on your tail. You invented this fucking machine. CIA got you all this shit. So what's up? So then they leave. They go to this kid's hideout. The kid has like a fucking Iron Man gimmick suit, right? This then turns into a pretty cool couple of scenes, right? We get a car chase out of this. We get a fucking badass fight scene. What did you think about the action going on at this time and the introduction of, Riri Williams as a, what will end up being like a bigger character?
Yeah, so Riri Williams, I'll say is really like not one of my favorite characters, like comic book wise. She's like part of the Young Avengers, whatever. I think it's kind of like, like either do Iron Man or don't do Iron Man, just like a knockoff of another character. But then I guess you could say the same about War Machine or anybody else that's in one of those suits. And then I guess they're kind of setting it up for her, for Ironheart and Armor Wars and everything. But I don't know. The jury's out on her. We'll have to revisit that because she was kind of just like a supporting character in that. We'll see how she does with her own show and everything.
So, I mean, Justin, you said it the best after we left. Like, the initial suit she built is from what she had, right? So it's not like she has like the best things available to her. But when she has the ability to upgrade the suit, she kind of doesn't. And it's like, what the fuck,
Well, they can't. Like, they're not just going to give her nanotech right off the bat, because then the show has nowhere to go. She's way too overpowered. Like, it's too powerful, so they have to give her this, like, garage-built Iron Man suit, which I get. But, like, the great, like, first off, the mask needs to be the same, because it's fantastic. Like, the original Iron Man mask that Tony Stark built is perfect. There's the dead eyes and the straight mouth. And then that on-face cam, which exists in such a small plane, is Robert Downey Jr. He does it fantastic. It's just
he owns it.
The screen of Robert Downey Jr. and some bullshit screen HUD stuff.
And while you really do see a difference of someone who knows how to do that and then people that don't. And you find that in this movie. Because there's a couple other people that you're like, all right, what is this now?
Yeah. Don't you feel like we're just doing like Iron Man over again though? Like, it's just
right, because they're gonna limit the suit for its possibilities. Like, if you give me her, like, give her a nanotech suit, give her remember like Marvel vs. Capcom, the plasma cannon that like Iron Man could break out. It's like the size of a turbojet and it would blast. It's like, give her, like, amp her out and make it like crazy dope.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go all out for it to like even be worth doing.
Right, like make her, like, Iron Man existed and he was very powerful. And like build upon that. Like, he ate a moon. Like, this girl's like running off diesel fuel. Like, I don't want to watch you work your way up to, like, I don't. It's what I always hate about the Spider-Man cartoon is like the old cliche of like the web blaster runs out of ammo. Like, of course it fucking does. And like the Iron Man suit's gonna stall out because she doesn't know how to put a bypass. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, we were short on oxygen. That part, like we already did that.
Yep, a couple times.
It was a little bit different. They did it in Iron Man 3 when he went up and then remember, like, oh no, it was in the first one. He went up and it got like too frosty and everything.
Yeah.
So instead of it getting too cold, this time she went up and there wasn't enough oxygen. Then she fell, and then what? She's gonna hit the ground? No, she fucking.
And everyone in the movie is wearing an oxygen mask. The sea people are wearing land oxygen masks. The land people are wearing sea oxygen masks. But the chick who flies in the sky is like, we don't need oxygen to fly around,
Yeah, come on.
You're right. So, okay. So then we get to, there's a cool chase scene, really cool chase scene that, it was whatever. And they had a drone scene, whatever. Then we get to the bridge, right? When when fucking Flying Girl gets clipped on the bridge, I was like,
Mhm.
oh damn, what's going
Yep.
on? And then you see the water bomb, and this is kind of, I think, like the first real taste of the water bomb that we get, and it was awesome. I was like, this is some fucking artillery. Then you had an incredible fight between Okoye
And
and,
Akuma.
dude, what a cool fight,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Wow, was that good? That was awesome, dude. When he like puts his axe in the ground and hits her into it, I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. And then he steals the spear and he says, "You're not worth my blade." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's pretty badass too, man, for sure.
Yeah. They were really no, and so that fight seems really good. But what ends up happening is that Suri gets, so they're gonna kill,
Shuri.
what is it?
Shuri.
Whatever.
Shuri.
Right.
Shuri.
Suri gets fucking,
Sharif.
she wakes up, and so Okoye gets kicked into the river, right? And
Mhm.
then Shuri gets woken up, and she's like, look, I'm a fucking princess of Wakanda. You don't want to fucking kill me. Take me to Namor. He knows me. He's going to want to talk to me. Bring us alive, right? So she essentially saves her and the Riri Williams bitch, and now they go down. So they then get the air mask. Hello. They get the air mask, and they're taken to Namor by Namor's troops, right?
Mhm.
Which is cool, you know? Good on you, right? And so they get taken to Namor by Namor's troops, and then we then cut to, where are we at next? Oh,
So
so
then Angela Bassett's pissed because Okoye lost.
well, no. Before we get to that, this is something big. So before we get to Okoye, we have the next day, the CIA is at the scene, or whenever, of the fight.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman's there, and this is where we get introduced to Julia Louis Dreyfus. And I'll tell you, dude, I think she looks better now than she ever did on Seinfeld. I'm just fucking saying.
I don't know
That's a
about
little
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan
You're
of an
going,
older Julia Louis Dreyfus.
you're going a little overboard. Like
Bro,
she looks great for her age, but if you're gonna say she's hotter than she was like back when she was doing Seinfeld, that's crazy.
bro, she looks pretty good.
You sound crazy right
Yeah. But
She looks pretty good.
anyway, her name in the movie is a fucking mouthful, dude. And in the comic, she goes by Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Oh, fucking fuck off.
So we're gonna say that name every time? No, she pretty much tells everybody you can call me Val. You know?
Val?
Yeah. But I mean, actually, in the comics, that's not even her real name. Her real name is never actually revealed. Like her parents are like these sleeper agent shit, and like.
So she's got a little Nick. She's like you said, she's like Nick Fury's gimmick, right?
Yeah, she's like, her and Nick Fury are like, they're like forever in love. You know what I mean? Like they met when so Nick Fury was already like, big in Shield and everything because he's been around forever because
He's Nick Fury.
Yeah, he took this like infinity formula, which makes him not really age and whatnot. But so like he was already kind of running the show in Shield, and she impressed him because she was like training in Shield and everything. She beat the shit out of him, and he was like, "Whoa, this chick's for real," like she can.
She beat the shit out of Nick Fury.
And like what I mean, they were like training, you know what I mean, they were like sparring
Yeah.
and stuff, and he was like, she beat him hand to hand, so he was like really impressed by her.
Yeah.
And then like they became closer and everything. They moved in. She like led like these squads of like badass chicks and everything. But like she like is like the same kind of like character as Nick Fury. She does all except what? As shady as Nick Fury is, she's even more fucking shady, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah. And she's even shady like to Fury, who's in love with her and like always forgives her and shit in the comics. And
damn, you gotta get that hoe in line.
Yeah,
you know who,
dude, you find out that she's like, that's why I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with her, because in the comics you find out like she is working for Hydra and she's supposed to be like undercover for Shield, but then they find out the whole time she was in Shield she was a sleeper agent for like Russia. So she's like a triple agent, dude. She's shady as shit, dude. So I'm excited to see like all the fucked up shit she's gonna do now that she's in the MCU. You know?
Do you remember the Baroness from G.I. Joe, that like chick who hung out with Cobra Commander? She had like
Yeah.
black hair and she was like always his like side henchman. So,
Mhm.
like that's who that chick reminds me of. Like if you ever look up the character, you'll know what I'm talking about. They even like look alike.
Okay. So let's keep it moving. So Martin Freeman finds Shuri's bracelet, right? And then we go to, this is a big fucking scene. We go back to Wakanda. We're in the big hall, the big political hall. Everyone's there. Okoye's recounting what happened to the queen, right? And she's like, these fucking guys came out of the water. They fucking got us. Like, she's like, give me some fucking people. Let's go. Like, I want to get these fuckers. And the queen is like, no, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. Time to retire, bro. And honestly, like, Okoye has been nothing but a ride or fucking die. She was badass in everything she did. Like, I don't
I
know.
didn't like that part.
It's tough to see her get did like that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But to be fair, she fucked up. But also, you saw that the queen was starting to crumble, right? Like the weight of the power of losing everyone, losing her son, her husband, now her daughter. Like you saw the weight of all of that coming down on her. Really, really turned on by Angela Bassett at this time. I think we all were. But either way, so she gets kicked out of the gimmick, and now it's like, fuck, what do we do? Right? So she's like, they ended up finding out, one of the things they were able to find out is that they were speaking in ancient Aztec dialect, and they were able to track them down to South America somewhere near like the Aztec Mayan ruins, right? And then when they get down there, we get introduced to the best back porch in the game.
Oh man, they go to Haiti and they pick up Nakia, who's played by Lupita
Nyong'o.
Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o. And dude, whoever did the wardrobe for that movie, whatever, dude, just fucking metal. Because every scene she was in, you know what I mean? Like she was the star of every scene she was in.
I don't think she was the star. It was that wagon she was dragging was the star, brother. Because that thing was.
Dude, all around, she's pretty nice, man.
Oh yeah, I'm not kicking her out of bed for eating crackers. I'm just saying they fucking put her ass on display, literally.
I didn't remember her from the first one, and I like leaned over to my brother. I was like, are they gonna make that Storm? Like maybe like T'Challa had a relationship with Storm on the low. I was like, because she was running an orphanage, and I didn't recognize her, and I was like, that would be awesome.
I mean, they were in South America, not Africa, though.
Storm is in this movie. They were in Haiti. You could have put Storm in an orphanage in Haiti. She knew a chick who had powers. Because also, what you find out later in the movie makes this whole part ridiculous, is that if you know she's your dead son's baby mama, why would you send her on a deadly mission? That's insane. You just made
jumping a little ahead of the gun there, Justin.
I mean, if you're watching this, you had either seen the movie or we're going to spill everything for you. But it's insane to have then send her to go do the mission. You're like, what? Why would you send her?
Yeah.
You just made a very passionate speech about how you lost everyone, and then the only other family member you have, you're like, you go do it.
Yeah. No,
she was desperate too, though. She was desperate to get her daughter back.
True. Desperation, I would say, but
it would have been cool if they made it Storm.
I mean, who knows? They still can, right?
Well, yeah.
We don't know she's not a mutant. We don't know that.
No. It's not. Well, I'll save that for the end.
So okay. So either way, okay. So then we're able to now, the queen and Nakia, they kind of recoup and talk and get their thing together. She tells her what's going on. And then, they know a guy who knows a guy who is able to kind of locate where Suri is. And then, but this was really cool. You then get to Suri and she's with Namor, right? He then gives you a background on his people, a background where he came from, a background on how he got his powers and all this stuff. And then his origin, and then they take us to Tolokan, and man, was that fucking cool.
But wait, there's a really important part that happened when he did his backstory.
Okay, go ahead.
He used a very important word when he talked about how he was born and that his ears changed, and that, like, he was different than the other Atlanteans. It was because he was a mutant. That's very important because mutants
Yeah.
aren't really like in the MCU yet, and in the comics he's the first. Like he's viewed as like the first mutant and everything. So they're like gearing up to like have mutants in the MCU. That's fucking really exciting.
Because Disney bought Fox, they were allowed to say that
Yep.
word in this
Yes,
movie.
sir.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't
Because
allowed
they
to
have-
say it before.
Yeah, they didn't have the rights to X-Men until
Now they own Fox, and Fox owned the rights to X-Men, and now they have the rights to say mutant.
The more you
And
know.
so the girl from Miss Marvel is also confirmed as a mutant. So we
yeah,
have
instead
one
of an Inhuman. I'm not that happy with that, but whatever. We
yeah.
don't need to get into that right now.
But you
Okay.
now have one in current time Marvel Universe and one from 1571.
Yes, correct.
So yeah, his review is that he was born in the 1500s and his whole village is dying of smallpox that was brought by Spanish settlers. And then they find he was in his mom's stomach, and then his whole village found the equivalent of like the heart flower.
Yeah, the heart
that-
The
shaped herb.
seaweed version.
Yeah, it was the seaweed version. You're correct. The seaweed version of the heart-shaped herb that the Wakandans have for Black Panther, and they all took it, but because he was in the womb and because he's part mutant, he got like a higher dose, and then they knew right then and there, like the guy born from this mutant flower is going to be their king. Is that kind of how it went, Lashmish?
Yeah, that's like how they did his story. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little different than the story he had, but it really doesn't matter. I think they kept like true enough to him. Like as long as they kept him powerful, I didn't care that they changed like the name of the city and all that stuff, but they still made him like fucking awesome and hard.
Is that a similar
You know?
from the comic book? Do they talk about Namor's mom in the comic book?
So in the comic book, Namor's born from he's the hybrid son of a human father and an Atlantean mother. So yeah, kind of.
He's like
You know
the
what I mean?
first half breed, and
Yeah.
so is
Yeah.
crazy
They didn't say
powerful.
much about his father. You know what I mean? I guess they were all from the tribe, so they kind of changed that. But it's okay because they still make him a mutant, which is what makes him that much stronger than the rest of the Atlanteans.
And hence the feather feet. Now, in the comic books, did Namor ever have feather feet?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
I don't
So,
remember
okay.
my
So
sexy
then let's-
submariner with feather feet.
Yep, let's keep it moving then. So what happens is that they do so they like Shuri, you really get kind of like an idea of who Namor is and where he's coming from and his ideals and things like that. Really, really cool. And then what happens is that Nikita and the Queen set up a plan where the Queen is going to distract Namor, and then Nikita is going to go in and get Shuri and Riri Williams, right?
Yep.
So really did love the scene with Namor and the Queen, because Namor is like, you want to shut the fuck up right now? Because if you keep talking this shit, I'm going to fuck you up, right? Like he
Yeah.
wasn't having none of her bullshit, and I kind of loved it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
Yeah, same. I mean, that's I was talking about like what they kept true to his character, and that's it, dude. He doesn't fuck around when it comes to like it's like his people above everything, and he'll fucking go all the way. You know, he doesn't care who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, if your cause is even noble, if in any way it's against his people, dude. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, he won't even just take you down. He'll kill you. You know, he's
Love it.
fucking badass, man.
Yeah, he was badass. So what happens is he's away with the Queen, and then Nakia comes and saves Shuri and Riri Williams, and in the process of doing so, kills like the captors that were watching Shuri. And this really is the spark, right? Like they didn't need much. I don't think Namor needed much, but he was like, oh, all right, you wanted the fucking bull wants to get the horns here, huh? So what happens is they escape, go back to Wakanda, and they got Wakanda like armed to the teeth. Like everyone's out, all like the Jabari, the River Tribe, everyone's like, all right, gear up. We're waiting. Like we know these fuckers are coming. Keep an eye on the water, like all that shit, right? Does not matter. You get what happens next is that Namor and the fucking crew show up, and man, was it fucking great.
Yeah.
Like they whooped Wakanda's ass, and you got to see Namor in action. He is the fucking best, dude. Oh, I loved it. I
The way
love,
he
dude.
flies, like the way he like runs, and then like it's cool what they did. Like when he was
Yeah.
taking those planes down and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
That was fucking
If
awesome.
you notice it, above and below water, he moves identically. It does not change. Like his
Mhm.
legs do all of the movement, and his upper body just kind of directs. And whether
Mhm.
below water or above water, it's the same kind of motions. He like
Ah.
cruises with a spear aerodynamically and then fires it. Like it's cool the way they
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah. Dude, he looked like he was skating
Yeah,
across.
like he just walks.
He
on.
really did a cool job. And his
Mhm.
whole, like, dude, he is so fucking powerful.
Yep.
You know,
Thor
like,
level powerful.
Thor level power. Yeah. I
So
was trying to compare it. Yeah. I was with you. You know, he is no joke, baby. He can go.
so I looked it up in comparison to Thor. So here's an idea. Like on the power grid that they use on marvel.fandom.com, which is like a Wikipedia for all Marvel characters, which I strongly suggest if you ever want like information on a character that's in Marvel, you look that up. Dude, his power grid, his strength and durability are both a 6. By comparison, Thor's strength is a 7 and his durability is a 6. So he's pretty much like up there on the level of Thor, which is fucking really
It's
powerful.
insane. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Like
It's insane.
in the water, Namor trashes the Hulk in the first time they ever met. Like in the way that Thanos trashed the Hulk the first time they met.
Oh, dude.
Like Namor trashes him in water, but
in
outside
the
water,
water, he will beat everybody.
yeah, he's
I was
monster in the
convinced.
water.
Yeah.
But then Hulk fighting Namor outside the water the first time in the comic books, they fought to a draw. So,
Hey, just
but
goes
in
to
the
show
water,
you.
no competition.
Well, so and that's kind of what we find. Like Jabari's there, get their ass kicked. River Tribe gets their ass kicked. They got all the planes and everything they could ever fucking want. Doesn't matter. Everyone gets their ass kicked. Wakanda kind of gets it handed to them, right? And they're sent, like, you know, they're kind of sent to the woodshed with their tail between their legs. Like they got they got kicked in the fucking mouth here, you know?
Oh,
So,
dude, that chest plate when Namor punches fucking
oh,
M'Baku's chest plate, that was fucking,
yeah.
yeah.
And after Namor tells him, he's like, "Bury your dead. I will be back in a week."
Yep.
Yeah. So what he does is so the queen was protecting Riri Williams in like the hall of the politicians, or wherever the fuck, the great hall, whatever they call it.
Throne
And
room.
yeah. And so they're in there, and then so Namor sees them, gets like, you know, fights off like 20 or 5 fucking planes and almost kills Shuri and Nakia, like, and Okoye, like they're all fucking, you know, getting their ass kicked. The whole fucking country gets their ass kicked. And then he sees them in their hall, and then he throws the water bomb there, and I guess ends up drowning whatchamacallit, the queen. But the queen drowns because she saved Riri Williams. So the queen was gonna be fine, but then she was like, nope, gotta save my girl here, and ended up, you know, fighting one for the team. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that went down. But what did you think about this? What did you think about so I want to know from both of you, and Justin, we'll start with you first. What were your thoughts on the acting and also the writing here, like with the killing of the queen, right, while defending Riri Williams? And what did you think of the response from the actors and their choices in this scene? Go ahead, Justin.
Well, Angela Bassett's fantastic.
Oh, she's
And then
unbelievable.
I don't want to like say too much, but like it was the death was necessary for the end of the movie because you need somebody to talk to, you know, in that astral plane, and the you know, one of the people is not alive in real life, so obviously you can't talk to him. So her mother dying is a necessity for the film, as well as an emotional standpoint for the character that has like lost everything at this point. Like she is now alone.
Legit. Your thoughts, Liam?
And I think like, so that was like the central conflict of the whole movie, is like Wakanda wants to protect their people, but they also like will protect innocent lives and everything and won't cross that line. Where like Namor and his people, like they will just protect their people at any cost.
That
And
dude,
that's like
that
the difference between Wakanda.
you are 100% right. Like Namor was not hard. Like they weren't shy about taking out civilians and killing a populated area. Like he came for blood. He was like,
killing in the name of,
dude,
you kill for a god versus kill for an elected leader. It feels differently.
He was all fuck around and find out. Yeah, for sure.
And I think also like Justin said, the death was necessary. Like she needed that spark to like push her over the edge so she would like really get working on what she needed to work on that heart-shaped herb and everything.
So yep. So the queen dies, Wakanda's in array, and they're like, please, they ask the Jabari if they can go live there for protection. The Wakandans then go to the Jabari land and they're living there and everything like that. And during this time, you see they do like a montage of her working in the lab and going hard and really trying to figure out the answer to the herb. Right, she finally figures out the answer to the herb with the help of the seaweed version of the herb, the heart-shaped herb, and she was able to get the science down, recreate it. She then takes it. She then goes to the ancestral plane, and who does she run into? Go ahead, Lashmish.
She runs into fucking Killmonger, dude.
Ugh.
He's sitting on the throne too.
Yeah.
And like you think because he's in white, like you still might see Angela Bassett, but then it's Killmonger sitting there, and they have that conversation like, your father was a hypocrite. You know what I mean? Like,
his father killed his own brother.
That's how he was like.
Brother was too noble. Yeah, your brother was too noble. You're more like me than you think. You know what I mean? Because she even says, like, you know what I mean? I feel like I want to burn the world earlier in the movie, And at that point in the movie, she is ready to burn the world, dude.
Oh, can you blame her?
No, you can't. I mean, someone just killed your mom. You're ready to burn the world.
Fucking A, babe. Fucking A. So, okay. So then she's rebelling against the thought of her and Killmonger being the same. She's not down. Like she is rebelling against that as in a way, but she's rebelling against, like, she's almost hurt. She made a good job of us thinking, oh shit, she's like pissed off that she's even being compared to Killmonger. But the deal is, the deal's the deal. She's fucking she's just like
fighting that side of herself.
And she took the herb in that same energy that he took the herb in, like with not a ritual and not with it being handed down from person to person. It was just opportunity and taking it.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do all the ritual behind it. She just took it, same as Killmonger did. And then she met Killmonger. And she's like, you took it just like I took it. You took it to be strong, not to protect your people.
Yeah, good point, man.
Yeah, very true. So then after this, so what do we got then? So she then figured out the herb. She comes out. They find out kind of right away that she's throwing some fucking heat.
Yeah, she punches that statue like through the wall.
Yeah, the herb worked, babe. She is ready to play. So very cool. So she then she then kind of suits up, and we get the montage of her turning into the Black Panther. They then go to Jabari land where everyone's at. She kind of exposes herself to the tribes of everybody, and they're kind of happy, like, oh fuck yes, the Black Panther's back. She does that over the top gimmick with the arm wrestling with M'Baku, which was really cool. But I don't know. What did you think about this, guys? Your thoughts on, a fucking chick being the Panther?
The toothpick Black Panther. So here she is, yo. Here's the Black Panther coming through. Just put a little gold on her. She's rail thin, yo. She's the tiniest Black Panther I've ever seen.
Bro.
But they put a lot of gold on the costume. It looked kind of cool. I liked it. It had a little more of a Killmonger look too. If you notice the similarities between her suit and Killmonger's suit versus her brother's suit.
I thought that was the helmet she picked up. Remember, they like brought out helmets, and like the one was black and gold. I thought that was Killmonger's. Like, they had the helmet of each Black Panther, and then she picked up the black and gold one. right?
Yeah, I did
No, there was
like
there's
that.
two, and then the third one arose. That was hers. It has like dots on it. It was just a little different.
Oh, I
But it
thought.
was
Oh, I
it looked
thought
like
that was Killmonger's.
it basically looked like the two of theirs combined, Killmonger's and Black Panther's.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, so she exposes herself and she deals out the whole let's this is our plan. We're not gonna hide in these mountains. We're gonna
Yeah, we're
put
gonna
everybody on
take
a
it
ship.
too. Yeah, and at this point, she's kind of discovered like her and Riri Williams kind of have a plan of attack to get Namor. They found out that the water gives him power, and that basically they got to put him in a sauna.
And that is directly from the comic. You get him, the further you get him from water, the longer you get him out of the water, the better chance you're gonna have, like in a fight. You know, that's definitely ripped right.
Nice.
Yeah. So they set up that sauna in the truck in the plane.
Well, then, so now they have now the gimmick is they want to set up, they want to trap Namor, right? So what they do is they get the machine that can detect vibranium. They go on Wakanda's boat, right, which is a pretty sweet boat. They had a pretty sweet scene. Before they even did this, though, they did a good job of it was M'Baku saying like, hey, you want to kill this guy, like, are you sure you want to kill, like, he kind of was plucking the heartstrings of like, let's think about this, let's be morally sound, like, kind of playing devil's advocate, which was cool, and he did a good job. But
especially because earlier in the film he's like, let's just go kill the fish man, but he didn't want that for her.
Right. And you do see kind of a relationship forming with them of, I don't think it's like, a boyfriend girlfriend. I think it's more of a little sister big brother kind of relationship.
Yeah, because he promised T'Challa that he would like be there and take care of his sister. You know what I mean?
T'Challa.
Yeah, he like said like, I'll be there to protect her and guide her and all that stuff.
I'll be there for you.
And I think he kind of saw it play out to see how many people Namor had and everything, and like that this guy like is their leader. He's a god to them. If you kill him, it's going to be like endless war between Wakanda and Atlantis, and I don't think he wants. It was kind of like his stance.
So we're coming towards the top here, so let's highlight this part. So fight scenes, what did you think? Thought M'Baku was good. Nakia looked great. Really liked the plan, really liked how it was shot, especially when like they're jumping off the ships and they're fighting on the side of the ship, and you're seeing like everyone going at it, and it's really the pretty decent fight scene. And then when they trap Namor and they, they're fighting in the ship, but then they go to the desert, the fight scenes in the desert were awesome. Yeah. I thought that was some of the best stuff. Yep. And what happened, like, all these fight scenes are coming in. Then we have introduced to a couple of different characters. Okoye is back. They changed. She now gets a souped up
suit ever. Worst suit ever.
Yeah, she didn't look great. I feel bad for her just because like she was a badass though.
That thing sucked.
She got her shit back on whatchamacallit, on the dude. She fought that dude that she got her ass kicked by on the bridge.
Tuma.
Yeah, so she got some get back on him, and there was a couple good one-on-ones of secondary characters that happened during this fight scene. I thought that was really good. But what happened eventually is that like, what it comes down to at the end is that the Wakandans were just outnumbered, right? And it ends up being like the maybe 20 of the 5, our all favorite secondary characters are surviving this battle. They're surrounded by all the Atlanteans, Talakala, whatever. And then at the same time, on a desert not too far away, it's Shuri and Namor are going at it. And, Namor ran her through with a fucking spear. And you think she's done. She's able to get out of there. Namor, like, her dehydrating him was the factor. That was what did it. Right, so he ends up putting a spear through her, is heading towards the water. She fights off pulls herself off the spear literally, then was able to track him down and then hits him with an explosion, Wakanda forever.
Yeah,
And
the vibration, like when they take all the kinetic energy. Yeah, that part was cool.
It was
yeah,
there was the ship that had crashed.
yeah.
The jets were to
Oh,
Neymar's
yeah, but
back.
didn't she set it off from the?
She just started the engine to the ship, and
Oh,
it
okay.
just burnt the hell out of his back.
Yeah. And so she
Soon as
has
soon as he did his war cry.
yeah, oh, so yeah, Liam, explain that. Explain the war cry, explain everything behind it. Go ahead.
So yeah, that I wasn't too happy with. Usually, if Namor says Imperious Rex, he's about to fuck somebody up like really bad. So he said it and got his ass kicked. They kind of like took it in the exact opposite direction. I don't get that. Imperious Rex is like just his, you know what I mean? That's just like his, I guess like his war cry, that he just always uses, like his slogan, And they
Yeah.
just, I don't know, they used it at like the wrong time. They should have used it like right when he threw that bomb at the Queen, or when he fucking took one of those planes down or something, or when he drove the spear through Shuri in the final battle. That would have been a perfect time for it.
Yeah. Not before he's about to get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Not before he
So-
gets sneak attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that he gets his ass kicked, or so Namor ends up losing,
He
right?
yields
He
after
yields,
that.
he yields, and then Shuri, she doesn't kill him. They go back to the boat. Namor said, "Hey, Atlanteans, we're done here. Let's go home. We're good with these guys now." And then the Wakandans are like, Wakanda forever, the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So they Wakanda ever the fuck out of. They go back. Everyone's kind of rebuilding. We say goodbye to everybody with all like Okoye. So whatchamacallit, Martin Freeman had ended up getting arrested by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We kind of passed that. So he was in like a van about to be taken to be executed, and Okoye goes and saves him. So that's where they end up. Riri Williams goes back to Cambridge. So that's where they end up. And then Shuri is kind of running things. That's where they end up. I love the scene where they were going to have like the Black Panther introduction scene at the waterfalls, right? And everyone's expecting Shuri to jump out as the Black Panther. And it ends up being M'Baku. And he says, "Fuck with me and find out." Loved that, right? And then we go from there to Shuri goes to Haiti, and when she goes to Haiti, she gets to meet somebody. And who does she meet, Justin?
She meets T'Challa's offspring.
She meets Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa.
Yeah.
So,
which lines us for the ability to make him date Storm. I mean, it'll take we'll be 50 when it happens, but it can still happen. Yeah, we'll all be 50, but he'll date Storm. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we can still get T'Challa versus Namor.
Oh,
right.
That can come back. Yeah,
we definitely
can.
Oh,
we also just my summaries of the grandioseness that I want at the end. Namora shows up in that end scene 2 and goes and talks to Namor, and she's like, "I can't believe you would bow," and he's like, "I didn't bow. This is a great idea. They have no allegiances on the water. We will become their ally when they need help from the outside world, and also when allegiances come to Namor, he makes allegiances with my favorite person in the whole universe."
Really?
Yeah, I love
it. Oh yeah, they make a group called the Cabal where it's like him and Emma Frost, the White Queen. Who else is in there? Norman Osborn. Bunch of shady cats there, man.
Damn.
Doom punks Namor a couple times, and Namor, because I mean, Doom lives in such far from the sea,
Latveria. Yeah,
it's not good for him.
Yeah, and he's a master of like technology and magic. I was really hoping they would like at least fucking, you know what I mean, like do some kind of like tease for Doctor Doom in this movie.
That's all I want, dude.
Yeah.
And then,
like he was the one going after the.
So we're coming to the top of time, though. Okay, so we're what was the extra scene? Was the extra scene meeting T'Challa?
Yes, that was the credit scene, which they only this time, Liam.
They finished though. They did finish the movie with another montage, video picture montage to Chadwick Boseman, which was really nice. No music again on that, which was cool. Then you meet young T'Challa, and then you're kind of sent off. So we're wrapping up here, though. So final thoughts then. Justin, what were your final thoughts on this movie?
I liked it. I had a good time. It doesn't move the universe that much farther along, which, obviously, I want other things. So I want to get to Doom and X-Men and Galactus and Silver Surfer, and I want Mr. Sinister. But until I get that, this was a comparable fun film. And I like Namor, so I'm happy that he now exists. And he's not, they didn't kill him off. They didn't do anything weird with him. He's very powerful. I'm disappointed. Remember when he got in his full tribal gear to hype up his people? I wish he showed up to the final fight in that. He's like the Aztec-y warrior.
Love that. Really love that.
Because coming in, I'm a Speedo, very sexy Namor kind of fan, Like, if he doesn't make me, like, a little horny, the Submariner's not doing it for me, But this more Aztecian, away from the Atlantis side, fine, it worked. He's still very cool. He made me, like, a little horny, and he's got cool wing feet. I'm down.
Right. We all knew you had something for him, you freaking weirdo. But okay. So then, all right, very good. And you like your thoughts on the movie?
Sorry.
Go ahead,
thoughts
Justin.
Or his thoughts?
Your thoughts, Justin.
Those were my thoughts. It was good. I really liked it.
Okay, cool. Keep it going then. Lashmoosh, go ahead. What do you got for the movie?
I will agree with Justin. You know what I mean? Like it moves along. It moves us towards Armor Wars. It moves us towards the Wakanda series and everything. We have Namor. They use the word mutants, so we're you know what I mean? We're going down that road. That's a good thing. I'm like dying for the fucking X-Men. I'll say like solid, B movie. You know what I mean? I'll give it a grade of B. It's not like one of the top tier MCU movies, but it's definitely not like a stinker either.
Yeah. So the last two that have come out were Doctor Strange and Thor, and I would say this was better than both of those.
I would say so too.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
The only thing that is really cool from the Thor movie is the Beyonder, which is in the last 10 seconds of the film. But that whole reference is how Doom will get his rise.
Yeah.
What is the Beyonder?
You know the little girl with the eyeballs that look like infinity almost?
Yeah.
She has the power of the Beyonder. Doom steals the power of the Beyonder to do secret. And he's going to steal that little girl.
Very cool. All right. Well, then, my thought was good movie. Don't know if I'll have to rewatch the first one. It's been a while since I watched the first one. I don't know if I like it better, but it was a good movie. Really entertained. Really like how they did it. Really like how they were able to work around no Chadwick Boseman. But yeah, pretty good stuff. I do feel like because we're in the fresh phase of the next phase, we're still at the beginning of it. We're getting some stinkers. You know what I mean? We're not getting Civil Wars and Winter Soldiers and Ragnaroks at this stage. Give us two more stages, and we'll be hitting the Civil Wars and Ragnaroks. But right now, we're getting our Captain America 1s out of the way, our Iron Man 3s out of the way. Like all that stuff has to happen. So this is where it happens. But
next is Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yes.
I heard that's supposed to be pretty good.
That will push things along much further. That's in 3 months.
In
February.
Jonathan Majors.
And then Guardians 3. You got two probably really good movies coming up.
And Adam Warlock is gonna show up in Guardians 3.
Who's that?
For that.
We got another hour.
All right, no. All right, so good. All right, so we're coming to the top of time. Then, Lashmoosh, anything you want to say to the Comics Perspectives faithful before we get out of here?
Yes, I just want to give a shout out to Kevin Conroy. Fucking rest in peace. The voice of Batman from Batman the Animated Series. Countless DC animated movies, Arkham video games, fucking the Injustice video games, dude. As far as like voice actors go, he's an absolute legend for DC animated. But it's sad that he passed, dude. He's legend.
We lost a good one. R.I.P. Very nice. J-Dub, final thought.
Go on YouTube, look up Am I Blue, sung by Batman, a.k.a. Kevin Conroy from the animated series, where the one character makes him sing a song. It's real good.
Nice.
Love it. All right, nice. Well, speaking of being really good, this has been another episode of the Comics Perspectives Podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by Jalen Dub, Justin Richardson, and Lashmize Liam Reese. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Perspectives Podcast. Yeah, also on Instagram, Work Perspectives Podcast. You can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok, Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe so we can keep this party going. This has been another episode of the Comics Perspectives Podcast. Thanks for listening. And yeah, fucking enjoy the movie. See you later. Bye.
Of course.